Hello, this is Ola Rønningsdal, and I'm going to interview Mari Tveito for the next newsletter. She is a living inquiry facilitator, and we are both Norwegian and are living in the same town in Oslo. But it's the first time that we are meeting, and we had a very lovely conversation. And yeah, we are going to talk a little bit about Mari and her life and how she was coming to the living inquiries. Yeah, can we start with? Can you tell a little bit about yourself? What you want to tell?
Well, my name is Mari, and I'm soon 34 years old. I live right outside of Oslo, and I work as a choir conductor most of the time. So I do choirs and singing, teaching, and different music things. And on the side, I have a few clients here and there, but over the years, it's been more and more music that has taken over as my source of income.
Sounds very creative, what you are doing.
Yeah, and I think that's what drew me to the living inquiries too, that it is very creative, that it has a lot of opportunities, and that it when you're in a session with someone, you have all these different ways that you can go, and it's always something new and different with each person, and it's always surprising and sometimes very funny and sometimes beautiful and sometimes scary and ugly, and it has everything.
Yeah, exactly. And what was it that brought you to living inquiries? How did you find it, from Oslo or from Norway?
I was sitting in my igloo, and I had been interested in non-duality for many years, and I've been reading some books, but I didn't pursue it or think about it or go anywhere with it other than just reading about it and sort of having a superficial interest. I read some Eckhart Tolle and Byron Katie and that kind of stuff. And then I read a book by Jed McKenna called Spiritual Enlightenment, The Damnedest Thing. It's a very strange book, very different, very kind of controversial for a non-duality book, and it also has a very almost like aggressive energy, which was very suitable for where I was at that time. I was kind of desperate and suffering, and I just really wanted to have an experience of what it was that these people were talking about. And I was on the web page of Jed McKenna, and he had this links section where he recommended Scott Killaby and the Living Inquiries. And he mentioned there that Scott's method was a wonderful way of having a direct experience of whatever it is you want to call presence or being or.
Interesting. how
awareness.
it's
Yeah.
finding its way all the way from Norway, from this book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a seemingly random chain of events, you know, and then when I saw that name, I just felt this surge of energy in my body, and I was very drawn to it. So I just immediately contacted Scott, and at that time he was giving sessions. He was giving this. I think it was called something like the compulsion package or something, where you had these 4 sessions that were quite close together. And I basically contacted him just because I was desperate, because I was overeating and I was really uncomfortable with food. I had a lot of issues with food. That was my largest, you know, symptom, you might say, of suffering. That's where it all, you know, got very strong for me, the eating aspect of things. And I had some sessions with Scott, and it was my first real experience of this, what life is like, you know, without all these glasses on top of it.
Yeah, all the beliefs and convictions and
and ideas and concepts and expectations, and so I just had these little glimpses with him, you know, of what it's like to live without that. And that was amazing to me. So then it was very short before I signed up for the facilitator training, and then.
Has living inquiries changed your life in any way? Has it made a difference to you?
Definitely. I think living inquiries must be the most important one of any tool that I've ever learned, you know, all across the board, you know, from learning how to ride a bicycle and making food to, you know, meditation and other similar methods to living inquiry. This method is the one that has definitely created the most movement and the most breakthroughs, the most deepening, and it's the one that I always come back to, even though I try a lot of other things and I am interested in a lot of other, you know, perspectives, and there are, you know, millions of ways to explore being, but to me, living inquiries is the one that always pulls me back to it.
Yeah. We are slowly coming to an end. Is it anything you want to add? What's important to say?
Yeah, I would like to say that I'm forever grateful to this community, to all the people that I'm meeting because of the living inquiries. Today I met you, and I look forward to getting to know you more. And just knowing that there is this huge worldwide community of people that are there to support each other and to explore with each other is unlike anything that I've ever seen anywhere else.
Yeah, I so agree with you, and I'm so glad having this conversation with you, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Ulag.
Then bye bye.
Bye.